Hello, my name is Imran Sharif. I'm currently a specialty doctor anaesthetist in South East London. Thank you for your attention, and over the next few minutes I'm going to explain why anaesthetists appointed to this new SAS grade or SAS grade of specialist are going to be so important for service development in your trust and across many others in the UK. Firstly, it's important to explain the context of the workforce into which specialist anaesthetists are being appointed. The recently published College Medical Workforce Report showed alarming figures, including a national shortage of 1,400 anaesthetists. Over 90% of departments had one or more consultant vacancy, and the consultant workforce gap has steadily risen year on year to 8% in 2020. In fact, in 2020, 52% of departments had attempted to had advertised for consultant anaesthetists, but were unable to appoint them. The proverbial elephants in the room are COVID, pensions, and of course burnout. Needless to say, we are in the midst of an anaesthetic workforce crisis that is only set to get worse, with 25% of consultants planning to take leave in the next 5 years, and the current government is refusing to legislate for mandatory workforce planning. Even if the government listens, reverses and substantially increases training capacity, it takes time for anaesthetists to complete training, which itself is not without its own attrition rate. It is very likely, therefore, that the supply of new consultants will not meet the demands of an ever-growing service in the foreseeable future. This has massive implications for patients. Up to 1 million operations are projected to be cancelled each year due to workforce shortages, adding to the already record waiting list of 5.8 million patients. Meanwhile, the anaesthetic SAS workforce, the majority of whom are over 40, include many senior anaesthetists who are highly experienced and capable of autonomous work. For the last 14 years, there has not been an opportunity for them to progress as an SAS, as a SAS anaesthetist, despite many of them taking huge interests outside their own direct clinical work. The appointment of specialists can therefore free up consultants who can resume their leadership and service development roles that inevitably get shelved when the service is overstretched. Talented, loyal, and motivated specialist anaesthetists, in my opinion, are far more valuable than transient locum consultants. But of course, the role of SAS anaesthetists is far more than just service provision. Since 2014, the SAS Charter and countless other documents from the BMA, the Academy of Royal Medical Colleges, our college, and the association have been encouraging SAS anaesthetists to engage with appraisal, job planning, research, education, quality improvement, and to get into managerial and organisational roles, all of which support service development. Every SAS anaesthetist will have benefited from Health Education England's SAS Development Fund. These local development programmes have always included courses on how to write business cases, leadership and executive coaching programmes, as well as courses on NHS politics. Some SAS anaesthetists have even utilised such funding to complete MBAs. Once appointed as a specialist, such opportunities for professional development do not stop. It is without question that senior SAS have the skills or the opportunity to develop the skills to drive service development. However, the specialty doctor grade, as much as I love it, has its own limitations. Having to work resident on-calls alongside much younger trainees limits the contribution you can make to service development. Additionally, specialty doctors frequently meet the barrier of NHS organisational hierarchy. Many developmental roles will be offered to consultants exclusively, and we hope that the specialist grade can go some way to shatter these traditional glass ceilings. Consultants have always been at the top of the medical hierarchy and by default the medical leaders in secondary care. Often this is the heroic model of leadership where power and responsibility is concentrated to a few individuals. However, distributed leadership, often discussed in healthcare literature, has tangible benefits for organisations. Indeed, having specialists sharing in such leadership positions will bring new experiences and perspectives and build more collaborative working environments. Everyone sees things differently, including SAS doctors. You may never fully understand the whole picture until you have different perspectives. This is why it's so important to have diversity in the leadership of your organization. The SAS workforce is rich with diversity, and I'm not just talking about ethnicity. Ambitious specialists can only enrich your management structures. I don't want to talk about my own personal contribution to service development. I suspect you may have questions on that later. However, I do want to use an example of a SAS intensivist to highlight the type of contributions that can be made. Dr. Leanne Davidson fell into a staff grade post in intensive care many years ago in Belfast, and she transferred to the associate specialist post in 2008, just before it closed. And she's now been in the same unit for more than 20 years, and she has developed multiple areas of expertise and specialist interest, including the humanizing of intensive care. She was instrumental in coordinating service changes needed to meet the demands of the COVID pandemic. As a leader in her department and organization, she is just one example out of many others across the United Kingdom that illustrate the potential of specialists or their equivalents to change and modernize their services. We are in the midst of a workforce crisis. Anaesthetic consultants are in particular danger of burnout. Anaesthetic specialists can help by relieving clinical pressure, however they also already have the skills necessary to contribute to service development. Distributed leadership that includes specialists can lead to a richer, more successful organisation, and there are plenty of examples of this. Lastly, given everything that I've said, for the sake of patients, we should not waste this valuable pool of talent that is ready and waiting to make a bigger contribution. Thank you.